think it's working. Yes. But does this work?
Man, I'm tired of being right.
I think so.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. He has no.
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Call me Snake. Groovy. I gotta barbecue your ass if I laughing. Man's got to know his limitations.
That's great psychology. Why don't you just say something bad about my mother?
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
Am I getting through to you? We need you. Hell, I need you. I'm a mess without you. I miss you so damn much. I miss being with you. I miss being near you. I miss your laugh. I miss your scent. I miss your musk. When this all gets sorted out, I think you and me should get an apartment together.
Hey, welcome to the show. I hope y'all enjoy buttered sausage, okay? I hope you really like buttered sausage, because there's going to be a lot of it. It's not an analogy for what's expected, but it's actual buttered sausage. So don't forget to butter your sausage, if you know what I mean. I have been nominated by former and future president and current President-elect Donald Trump to be Deputy Minister of Buttered Sausage Czar. And I think it's all going to work out. Buttered sausage. Heavens, it's tasty. Now, on with the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up for buttered sausage. At this point, I don't think anybody would be surprised at all if Donald Trump appointed Gary Busey to run something, because could it possibly get any worse? I don't think so. I think it'd be kind of awesome if I really think about it. I would like to be the ambassador to buttered sausage. Sorry. We are in this weird moment. And by the way, welcome to Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm your host, Hal Sparks. Don't forget, we have a podcast as well, the Hal Sparks Podcast Mega Worldwide. Where does he come up with the names of these shows? I think he dreams them. I think they come to him in a dream from the other side. And I can see them. I can see the other side. Okay. That's just how we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. Absurdity will be our friend, ladies and gentlemen. Absurdity, one man's absurdity is another man's freedom fighter. Sure. Why not? While you're at it, though, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you're a maggot troll, welcome, welcome, welcome. I know other shows and Blue Sky make you feel unwanted. I don't want that for you. I want you to be here so we can mute you. No, I want you to be here strictly so that you can boost me in the algorithm through your blather. Everything you're doing on here is what I'm trying to discourage my viewers from doing on Shitter, aka Twitter, aka X. Put the X, Xi Jinping X pronunciation with Twitter, you get Shitter. Makes total sense. Okay. You are my density. Hey, I was up for that part and I didn't get it because my head was too big. True story. So, anyways, we got a lot to cover today, but first of all, we got to say hello to the chat room. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the chat room. Hi, guys. I called the chitter, and I'm gone. Nice. I will be done by the end of the week, as Delete Tweet is taking its fucking sweet time pulling down all my tweets. I don't know what the hang-up is. I've had to restart it twice. It's a lot. I've been talking a lot of shit over the years. There's a lot of that stuff in there. I'm just saying. Yeah. But in the meantime, I would like to say, give us a thumbs up and follow me over to Blue Sky. If you followed me on Twitter, then you'll follow me over to Blue Sky. I'm just saying, over there. Now, I will be dual posting on Threads most of the same stuff because I use Buffer, so I'm going to, like, pew, pew. But most of my interaction and stuff will be on Blue Sky because it's actually useful. It's actually very... like, you can actually reach people. I can reach people on the other side. Like I at night in my dreams, if I go to sleep with a notebook on my chest, I will wake up with a flip book of dirty pictures. And I don't even remember drawing them. So, there's a lot to cover today. I'm going to try and keep it high and tight. And again... these guys are high on their own farts, and watching them steamroll towards rakes is going to be a bit of a joy. Yes, Stargal has a question. Sorry, did I miss it? Stargal, you had a questiones. Where was this? I'm scrolling back, seeing if I can find it. Scrolling through the question with the Stargal's question. Where was the question again? Isn't your deletion just a copy? No. No, you download a copy of it, and then you delete everything, and then you deactivate the channel, and that should get rid of all the files entirely. Or I suppose you can sue them if at that point if you find they still have your shit on their server, which would be fine too. Right? I'm sorry, baby girl, if your sides ache, maybe... like, try some salve. I don't use it topically. I believe in drinking salve with a straw. Just because it makes it easier rather than... that's not good. So I'm sorry, Stargal, I missed your question in the torrent of stuff that was going on. 19 months? 19 months up in this. Thank you, Mark. Yes, we keep fighting fascists. Of course. Sparklers are the best people on the planet. I agree. And thank you guys so much for the gifted memberships this morning. And Georgina, thank you for the super chat. Tobias gifted 20 memberships today. Thank you, Tobias. Holy smokes. And don't forget, kids, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. Now, where's my number? There it is. Okay, now... apparently, I don't know if you know this, but it wasn't Donald Trump that was lying about what he was going to do or telling you the truth while other people were like, I don't know, I thought he'd be better on Gaza than the whole thing. I thought, what in the world could it be? I just assumed he'd be better because I was, Francie says, scary AF, she didn't delete her tweets. Is okay, yes, it's fine. I'm only doing it because I have a big shitload of stuff. If you just deactivate it, should be fine. I'm just double, triple stamping it. So fear not. You don't have to do that. You could just deactivate. I'm just being a dick about it. I want somebody there to see all my tweets just kind of being clawed away and then the account to vanish. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, now, okay. Let us continue. Lord, praise be to Jesus. Okay, so if I may, apparently, according to this dipshit, by the way, in case you don't know this, this is what happens when you dehydrate Jesse Waters. If you like leave him on your dashboard in the summertime or whatever, this is what happens to him. He goes, beep, pew. The eyebrows stay the same size, which I think is fascinating. It's all part of the toy. Now, I'm not pulling his string. I leave that up to you. But apparently the left was lying. But he doesn't seem sure about this. Were the Democrats lying? Well, the left was lying. Were the Democrats lying? Are you making a distinction between the left and Democrats? I don't know. Let's see. Because I feel like this is going to be blather. I have not pre-watched this. That's not what I do around here. Hit the like, share the show. This is Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide.
Democrats, it turns out they were lying. When they said that they were afraid of a Donald Trump dictatorship, it turns out that that's nonsense. So here is Charlemagne the God saying, I noticed that you guys were calling him a fascist 5 seconds ago and then you stopped. So what happened?
No, we didn't.
I just don't understand the White House visit. Now, granted, I'm glad it's a peaceful transition of power, but what happened to the threat of democracy talk? What happened to the fascist talk? By the way, I know I've said those things about Trump as well, but I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about his political opponents like President Biden. When they say it, it holds way more weight than me. I'm just trying to figure out, how do you go from he's an existential threat to democracy to welcome back?
He was happy too.
It's not up to him. You don't have to welcome him back. He's coming in anyways. And because he's such a weak-kneed egomaniac, the easiest way to gain control on him or to slow his roll is to compliment him and be nice to him, and that puts him on his heels. Yelling at him, talking shit to his face, not letting him in, allows his viewers to think that you've set traps that are going to destroy his presidency. And so when he fails on his own, they're going to blame you. And he's going to go, like he did with Obama, I came in here and this place was a mess.
He was happy. He was smiling. He was grinning. He was cheesing. Say cheese. He was cheesing, bro.
I'm just trying to figure out how.
I just explained it. It's not heavy work. He's the president of the United States. He's held to a higher standard than the rest of us. When this happens, there is going to be a transfer of power. It doesn't matter. And keeping it peaceful versus last time is a good thing. That does not mean he's not doing other things. For example, the decision he made about Ukraine that will continue on his presidency well into Trump's presidency unless Trump has any brains around him at all, which it clearly he does not. That's Biden was cordial to get Trump on his heels. Period. Period. If you yell at him and you distance yourself and you do all that stuff in face to face, it's his pocket. Let me explain something. Anybody ever, if you fight a fighter, okay, one of the reasons why there's so many different Chinese styles of Kung Fu, besides, the phrase is Kung Fu is bottomless, and why there's so many like stances and this business and this business and this business, why there's so many different styles is because if it's just this, pretty much if you run into a boxer on the street and a fight breaks out and you do like this and they've taken boxing, you both default into this and you're both in your strength and you know what's coming and you know basically how to react, and it will become a matter of skill versus surprise versus overt strength, something like that. But if you do something weird, like an Italian kickboxer or something, people get they're not quite ready for it. Most people expect you to do this in a fight. That's most of the time when a fight starts, they expect you to do this. If you don't, and you do something that clearly is you in command of the situation, then you will, it confuses them. And if they're expecting you to go to spit in your face, and you're like, come on in, wouldn't you go, all right, what's up? Because this guy has total immunity until January 20th to do anything he wants. Let me just ask you a question. If he offers you a Diet Coke, do you drink it? Okay, let me put that there. Secondly, Trump is weak. He is a weak human being, and he is easily played on his ego. And right now, ironically enough, between Boris Epstein and Elon Musk, they are all fighting over who's going to have control over him. And then he comes in and he sits down with Biden. Biden's like, come on, yeah, absolutely. This is about America. It's not about the two of us. And he's like, it is? What? I know everybody wants it to be this kind of pugilistic shit, but ultimately, that's not how it can. It's not how it's going to be, period. And again, with somebody like Trump, that's the thing that puts him on his heels. You have zero control over him if you're adversarial because he expects it and he kind of wants it. And his people feed off of it. So if you're friendly to him, everybody's like, all right, what the fuck is going on? And you set up, they're just going to be wound up in paranoia for the next fucking 2 months. And God knows how long after that, right? So let me tell you something. Yeah. There's a lot more to this. And again, right after he did it, that's when he announced that Ukraine could do this stuff. That's when he released a lot of the money from the American Rescue Plan and the Inflation Reduction Act for the fab factories in Arizona, that kind of stuff. Like, they're using this as kind of like, oh, yeah, dude, come on in. Meanwhile, they're, I believe, setting traps all over the fucking place. But if you act like you're setting traps, that's how they will respond. Just say it. Right? Just say it. And just because you're not going fucking fascist to his face does not mean you're not treating it as such. One thing about Trump is that yes, he's a fascist, but he's also, he reminds me of like the dictator in the Woody Allen movie Bananas. Remember that? When he was like part of the Revolutionary Force because he wanted to like hook up with this like left-wing chick, so he ends up in fucking South America, and the guy they're supporting is the leader for the people and all that stuff, and then he stands up in front of everyone and goes, everyone will change their underwear every hour on the hour, and we will wear them outside of their pants so we can check. And then it's like, I think the power's going to his head. Trump is like that. J.D. Vance isn't. I don't see a meeting between Harris and Vance in front of cameras with that whole thing, right? But it wouldn't be, again, we're seeing what the actual thing that's happening behind the scenes. And I really do feel like they know he's walking into a rake and they're going to go, look, I don't have to sweep the leg. He's going to trip and fall on his own.
I understand President Biden believes in political norms, but damn.
That man is happy as hell to leave. He don't care. He want to go.
I'm sorry that it turns out that all of the propaganda being spewed by the Democratic networks was untrue. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about that. She was asked whether Joe Biden apologized to Trump for calling him a threat.
Also, no, it wasn't. Little man talking to his laptop in Starbucks. What the fuck is happening here? What is this show? Honest to fucking God. You have this whole set around you. You build up all this stuff, and your whole show is a mic and a fucking laptop in front of you. Like, his whole show is irritating, like somebody who won't shut the fuck up at the library. I'm doing homework right now. I don't know if you guys know that I'm working on my bachelor's degree, but I'm in my mind I'm working toward my master's, and I think that's the important thing. Whatever, and it's very important that I speak as fast as possible. Otherwise, people will realize how fucking dumb I am.
To democracy. She's like, no. I'm going to be so glad when she's gone, because boy, is she terrible.
In the meeting, we saw a unified front related to a transition in the Oval Office meeting. But a lot was said on the campaign trail, like Trump is a dangerous threat to our country and our democracy. Was there an apology today?
I'm sorry?
Was there an apology from
President
Biden for the words, some of the words used?
An apology from the President Biden.
To President-elect Trump for some of the words that was used on the campaign trail.
Look.
No. Why would there be? Let me get it. All right. We're not switching pastors, motherfucker. This isn't like move over Jim Jones, there's a Dave Koresh coming in. That's not how it works. The country is bigger than the men involved. And if they have a dispute or they have their words to each other won't change how the other governs or who they are. He doesn't have to apologize for shit he really believed. And the country will deal with the consequences of electing that person. He doesn't owe him a fucking apology.
And I've answered this a couple of times about a threat to democracy in the past week. The president is going to always feel obligated to be honest with the American people. What we want to be also...
Nice edit there, Ben. You lazy little bastard. Look at that. What we want to do is cut out the greater context of this so that it seems like this was just her being snippy.
Very clear about is the importance of listening to the will of the American people. There was an election. It is important to respect our institution. It is important to respect the free and fair elections. And that's what this president is doing. Leading by example and putting that aside and putting the American people first. But what he said still stands.
By the way, that was Ben. Apparently the Daily Wire, where Ben does his show, has become, I would say, the poor man's Blaze, but that's what the Blaze is. It's like the Dunning-Kruger man's Blaze. No, that still applies.
And it's not just him. We should not just put this at the president.
Yeah, he's not the only one who was saying it. I was saying it a lot too, and still believe it. We all do.
His own people said this. So I want to be really, really clear about that and not forget the...
Yeah, tell you what, Biden will apologize right after Mike Pence does. And scene.
Facts. There are facts here that we should certainly also lift up as you're asking me these questions.
So I think that the betrayal of Joe Biden's words are evident in his behavior.
No. No, it isn't. Not at all. Throughout the entire presidency, he's had the country's best interest at heart. If the voters pick this fucker, he will make sure that he comes in with as many fucking ankle bracelets on him as he possibly can. But he's not going to play into this kind of like ping pong politics just so that other people can get a dopamine hit. It doesn't work that way.
And so obviously he didn't mean what he said, because that's not the way.
I don't know. What was in the Diet Coke, Ben? I'm going to go with is there a Theta COVID strain? I'm kidding.
He's acting right now. Meanwhile, Nate.
Or am I? No.
Nature is healing. Joy Reid is leaving X. How sad. I mean, it'll be such a... The average IQ on X just increased by about 10 points. Here's Joy Reid.
Also, for the record, no matter whether they call it AGI or artificial intelligence of any sort, it's not actually intelligence in the traditional sense that we think of it anyways. So bots don't have IQs. Just saying.
Hey guys, so today I finally did something I've been meaning to do for a while.
And shows that she deactivated her account on X.
Yes, we can read. Oh, right, you're talking to your audience. Sorry. For a second, I thought you thought we needed help reading, but I'm sorry. You know your crowd better than we ever could.
And the reason for doing it
is because it's a dump and a cesspool and even low-res back and forth ping pong politics when it happens on there benefits Elon Musk and puts money in his pocket.
Kissing goodbye my 1.9 million followers over there is because I hadn't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to contribute content once it was purchased by its present owner. But just having it there, I was only holding on to it because I, really didn't want someone trying to take over that name and using it for nefarious purposes. I was a little bit worried about that. And also every so often I would use it to just like sort of look at news that was trending and what's happening, and I would just sort of use it as like an aggregator. But I just realized that that's not really worth it, because in order to like do the news aggregation and just look at all, you have to wade through a lot of dreck.
Can I, real quick? This is a great, thank you, Joy Reid, for helping me make my point. Joy Reid works at a news organization. She works at MSNBC, which has behind it the entire weight of the NBC News army, everybody that works there, and the Microsoft network that allows them to communicate and tie all this stuff together, and the funding that goes with it. The idea that anybody there would reference a social media site to gain the news when it is simply, most of it, especially the breaking news aspects of it, either break straight to the news, like it's on local news and you can see a car chase on local news and that's how it ends up there, or it is posted everywhere at once, so you can just kind of pull the video and it doesn't have to come from one particular site. Or even on top of that, it's especially when it's international news, it bank shots through Telegram or netizen channels on Weibo, the Chinese network, or that kind of stuff. So they should be able to aggregate it from all these different places. But the idea that that anybody at a news organization is like finding out what's happening in the world through X is a fucking travesty. And again, most of the time, you're not finding out what's happening. The thing that happened. It's really just you're watching people's response to it. And again, the bouncing conversation back and forth. But the idea that I would use it or somebody like that as an aggregate is lame enough. And I don't. But it's fucking embarrassing if people who work at news organizations, that's actually a source for them, where they keep up on stuff. Because what you're really saying to me, if that's how you do it, is that you're not really keeping up on the news thing itself, whatever the fuck that is, the hurricane, the car chase, the Tesla vehicle bursting into flames and driving into a movie theater, that piece of video that's floating around or whatever, that happened. Once it happened, that's it. You have a news gathering organization around you to go find out details. You have local reporters you can send there. I don't have that. The rest of us don't have that. And the idea that what the fuck do we need cable news for if they're using Twitter as a reference? We can do that on our own. That's really fucking frightening. That's terrible. That's even a thought. That news people are like, I need to keep up on Twitter and Facebook to see what's happening in the world. Motherfucker.
And a lot of just abuse and a lot of just negativity, and it's just not worth it.
Oh, well, I'm so sad to see you go. Bye. Well, bye. This election.
All right. This is, by the way, part of Ben Reacts. They've been trying to sauce up his content because apparently, I don't know, because he doesn't believe that the earth is flat, he's not getting the viewership he used to. The turnover's pretty fucking bad. And look, they've got plenty of money to buy views and, and I'm sure they parlay that as best they can. But in reality, this overall, Shapiro's show is some of the lamest, weakest shit anywhere. And that's saying a lot, because we've watched Pat Gray's show and Stu's show. Not even Stu on Glenn Beck's show, but like Stu by himself.
Season, I've been all over the place, nonstop travel between campaign stops, media hits on other podcasts, even our very own election coverage in Nashville. I'm on the go like all the time, which means I have to do an ad right now. Yeah. He takes balance of nature. Bullshit. Look at him making balance of nature. What the fuck? What kind of homosexual shake are you making? Look at all them vegetables or whatever. What are you, a vegan, you big sissy? Good Lord. What is that? Okay.
Is that avocado and raspberries? What the hell? Oh my God. I think it's either a slice of taro, a rolled up piece of bacon. Now he's Orthodox, so that would be it. Or like an entire lump of ginger. What the shit is in this? And he's breaking open the cap. What do you have? All right, Ben, you're not trying to convince people that you have a touchy gag reflex, do you? What the fuck?
Use promo.
Oh, it's bananas. Avocado. That's bananas. Oh my God. The fuck is this? And these what? With no liquid. What the fuck? What are you making? Some sort of dip? Where's the liquid? Juice, water, something, motherfucker. That's nasty. That's some nasty shit. Maybe pour something in. We'll see.
For 35%.
No, that's not the same thing. And who is this guy? This is the office stunt vegan who's showing him how to use a blender. The fuck out of here. Oh God. Honest to God, it's like there's somebody that works at the Daily Wire that makes sure that Ben doesn't lose a tip of another finger.
Off your first order as a preferred customer and get a free bottle of fiber and spice. That's balanceofnature.com, promo code Shapiro.
Notice they see him holding up to his mouth like that, and that's where it ends. Like there's no like fucking money shot of him guzzling that garbage, whatever the fuck it was. There's no like, hey. That tastes fine like buttered sausage. I like it. I've had one of them avocado, raspberry, banana with a touch of clamato. Tastes like buttered sausage. That's my favorite. What an asshole. No, we're not. Fuck Balance of Nature. No.
Balanceofnature.com, promo code Shapiro. Meanwhile, Eva Longoria is apparently leaving the United States as well. She says she's moving out of the dystopian United States for a brighter life in Mexico.
Yeah, again, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Is this what the show is? Just you looking at news stories and saying them out loud? And if that is the... Has Hal ever met Gary Busey? I spent the night in a haunted house with Gary Busey. Have I ever met him? We're like best friends. We hung out a lot. I taught him about the other side, and he spoke to the ghosts on my behalf. That's a true story. Celebrity Paranormal Project. You can find it anywhere. You buy your hot buttered sausage. True story. Let me ask you a question. If you were going to create a snide audiobook of news snippets, why would you pick the third most annoying voice on earth? I always like to hedge my bets in case there's two other voices you might hate more than his. But what the fuck for? How is that a show? And by the way, who the fuck am I to get? He's got 7 million subscribers. I mean, what, 20% of them are real, but whatever. Still, it's a significant number of people. Right?
Oh, and Spain. I hope you enjoy the tax rates over there, lady. It's probably going to be great. So, catch you later. Oh, no. What are we going to do without Eva Longoria in the United States? Oh, no. Meanwhile, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, causing massive consternation, has now removed the she, her pronouns from her public profile, which is hilarious. Oh, man.
Yeah, hilarious. Terrific. She's also about to shut down her Twitter account, too, stupid.
So it's fun to watch as reality sets in and they realize on the Democratic side of the aisle that all of their crazy is actually quite alienating for the vast majority of Americans. some Democrats like Ezra Klein are beginning to admit the obvious, which is that, blaming Fox News and quote unquote misinformation ain't going to fix anything.
The thing that surprised me least about the election was the sharp red shift in these big cities.
Oh, dear God. Why don't you just do Pod Save America while you're at it? You want to find the 4 people that walked us into a fucking rake?
Because if you just talk to anybody who lives in them, they are furious. And this idea that like, oh no, the economy is actually good or crime is actually down, or this is all just Fox News, like shut the f up with that. Like talk to some people who live near you.
He is correct. He is correct.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't. Because if you talk to those people and you stop at the first sentence, you'll hear they're really angry. And then you go, why? What crime around here? Have you been robbed? Is there something bad? What was the big thing that just happened here? They'll go, well, not around here, but like Chicago. Like, you're in fucking Iowa. You're in Nebraska. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't even walk down the street in fucking Chicago and you get stabbed and shot and raped at the same time. I don't know where the criminals get all that energy. Must be all them immigrants.
So maybe Democrats are going to approach sanity again, or maybe they won't. Okay, folks, I do want to do something we haven't done in a while here, just because.
Wait, you're going to start making sense now?
When an extraordinary thing happens in public life, I think that we have to point it out. I haven't done a thing I like on this show for months, maybe years at this point. We used to have a segment on the show.
What? Hang on. What'd you just say?
We haven't done in a while here, just because when an extraordinary thing happens in public life, I think that we have to point it out. I haven't done a thing I like on this show for months, maybe years at this point.
Well, look at that. Bridges are already being built, Ben.
We used to have a segment on the show, we'll probably bring it back, called Things I Like.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is a perfect time to bring up your support for Matt Gaetz drugging and sex trafficking a teenager. I guess that's it, right? That's what you're going with? Or the idea that maybe Ghislaine Maxwell won't survive in jail because of what happened to her her ex or whatever. Maybe that's and so she'll go quietly. Is that the idea?
Which is kind of where we just do a fun thing near the.
Let's do it, Ben. Let's do a fun thing. Little Ben's gonna do a fun thing. Let's do a fun thing. Let's do it. You know, if you're new to fun, Ben, we'll walk you through it.
End of the show. This clip is one of my favorite clips of all time. So Mike Tyson, who's about to fight Jake Paul in another one of these.
What, the slap? What? Go buy another piece of wood, you fucking toddler. Really, you're gonna play the slap? That's it? You're filling time with this shit? So that you don't have to talk about RFK Jr. giving everybody polio and Matt Gaetz' rape charges coming up in the next couple of weeks? Is that what we're going to do? You're just going to play like a little, you're going to start talking about Puff Daddy?
Sort of made for TV gonzo matches, because Mike Tyson is 58 years old and Jake Paul is 27 years old. But Mike Tyson.
It's so funny. We have to laugh. I do agree. We are laughing at the absurd of all these things. We chuckle at these things because we're above them and they're below us, but laterally, just a little. You know, there's a slight slope, maybe even up. But who knows? At this point, it's a YouTube video.
For a 58-year-old still in crazy shape, you wouldn't want to fight him. In any case, he was doing an interview with a 12-year-old influencer, and she asked him about legacy.
Oh, okay. So he's doing the thing we're all gonna die, dust in the wind. He's doing his best rendition of Kansas's ballad.
And I gotta say, this is pretty spectacular, and I think we all just ought to take a moment and enjoy it together.
First of all, it's not spectacular. It's fucking weird. It's a bunch of nihilistic, like, hate dumping on a kid.
Well, in your return to the ring for this fight, you are setting a monumental opportunity for kids my age to see the legend, Mike Tyson, in the ring for the first time. What type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word.
Also, why is Ben on camera watching this with his weird, adoring, pursed face? And also, why is it on his laptop that he's watching it? Why isn't it? You can't maybe just a little bit of production, little bit. Maybe you don't have to. Fuck it. Minimum viable product, I guess, is what we're going for, right? And also, why, when you're happy, Ben, does it look like someone is holding a cat turd under your nose?
For ego, that's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm gonna die, and it's gonna be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big.
Why? And also, what? I gotta be honest. What's kind of charmingly funny about this? For real. I gotta say, my primary reaction to it was that it was just kind of gross, and that it's indicative more of Tyson's still enormous ego in all this, and maybe a touch of nihilism that's been thrown in by his health problems, and he's just kind of cashing in on this. Legacy isn't about you. It's about the name you leave for your children when you pass on. They were like, your grandfather was a great man, and they may treat you a little better, give you an extra 2 strides head start because the legacy of your parents meant something to them, right? That's what she means. And again, the legend of it, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about legacy. Legacy is something that affects your progeny. And he's like, I'm dust. Who gives a fuck? I'm like, well, you're talking to, well, and it gets worse, too.
So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have.
Also, why is he laughing at this? I'm dead serious. What the fuck? Look, I almost get if somebody that's like a dunk comic or just a shit stirrer, right? Thinking that's funny just because it's so dark and nihilistic. But like Ben giggling at this, Ben, what he's saying is the hat you wear is bullshit. That's what he's saying. He doesn't believe there's a life hereafter. He doesn't believe that religion has any value. He doesn't believe that living has any value. It is an absolutely nihilistic Darwinist view of the world, and he has no and it doesn't take into consideration, even whether you believe there's life beyond this or not, it doesn't take into account how your progeny react to how you behaved in your life, that you reflect on the people that come after you, that are your children, that are your grandchildren, that kind of thing, right? It's sad. Yeah, it's fucking gross. And it's sort of mean-spirited to say to a little kid. It's fucked up. And look at this asshole. Ben, what he's saying is your hat is stupid. That's what he's saying. Feel free to at me. I'm not saying your hat is stupid. He is, to a kid, and you think it's hilarious.
Not heard before someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? You think somebody really wants to think about you? I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me when I'm gone?
Again, she's a little girl. Look, I swear up a storm on this show with the understanding that my audience should be adults. But if a little kid is standing in front of me, I'm not going to, what the fuck's your problem? What are you fuckity fuck? I'm not going to do it. He's just being a dick.
And I love the hopeful 12-year-old just having her dreams crushed. And that's why I'm quoting you, Ecclesiastes.
Fuck you. Honestly, what value does he attribute to orthodoxy? Like, he's an Orthodox Jew and he makes a big show of it. What the fuck does that mean? Honest to God, if that's what he's selling and he thinks that's funny like that, it's one thing to think it's funny because you're just kind of like shocked and Jesus, that's hilarious that somebody would even say that to a kid, right? There's like a shock laugh you get from uncomfortable situations. That I get. It happens a lot. I mean, it's why we laugh at somebody falling down, right? People stumbling, fail videos, shit like that. But what is the moral architecture that he alleges to be? I mean, again, his hat is the same in my estimation as Mike Pillow's cross. It's fucking gang signs. Honestly, it's just it's an in-crowd sign that I'm one of you, but it has no ethical, moral, or philosophical root to it. I mean, it might as well be a MAGA cap. It might as well be a fucking Yankees cap. You know what I mean? It has like all the value of wearing a sports jersey.
After 320, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. For everything in life, there's a time. Everything in life, there's a season. For living, for dying. We don't mean nothing. We all gonna die someday anyway. Sun's gonna explode, eat all planets. Ain't nobody gonna be around to remember you then.
Jesus Christ. This is, I think, he was like, this will be a great opportunity for me to do my Mike Tyson. When he's really just doing like a low-res pickaninny voice.
I'm just explaining to you something. If you ever read some Marcus Aurelius, and let me tell you about the Stoics. So the Roman Stoics. Because let me explain.
Fuck you, dude. Why don't you, here's a good idea. I'm sure Mike Tyson will come by, Mar-a-Lago or one of these dumps that Trump runs that smells like feet, ass, and chicken nuggets. Do that bit for Mike.
Love it. Love it. More of this.
Why? What do you mean, more of this? Why do you need adult men spewing nihilist bullshit at children who ask innocent questions? What are you talking about? Why is that a good thing? Can you imagine being this kind of lazy and depraved? Like, I've always kind of known, we've all known that, like, Ben Shapiro's just kind of a shitty human. He's just not, he's not good at humaning in the first place. He's, he's chirpy and weird and has obviously thinks all of his farts smell like, freshly baked bread. He's convinced of his own superiority. He's got all those facets that make an annoying person. And then on top of it, he's got a pinched, bitchy little cruel streak. I don't watch enough Ben Shapiro, thank God, to sort of be aware of it. And I've never seen it come out so acutely as this. But that you would fucking cheer on, first of all, an adult, like with all this fucking, their belief that they're somehow morally superior, but cursing makes the bad. That's why I catch so much shit from them. But this dude can say fuck to a little kid who's interviewing him and just wants to ask a legacy question about it, like a very normal question. And he's like, I'm gonna set you right. That's his response. That gives you an opportunity to go into some weird pocket voice you use around the office. Fucking yikes. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised. I didn't pre-watch this. This video started out as "We're Democrats lying, our Democrats lying, the left is lying." That was the name of it. And it ended on this fucking note. 3 minutes of him watching the Mike Tyson interview and cheerleading this fuck, basically telling a little girl she's dust. And that and not only that she's, here's the thing, not even that you're dust. Because there's an argument to be made that, live like, YOLO, you only live once, right? There's an element of, in the youth today, that they understand that, there may not be anything beyond this, so seize life while you can. Carpe diem, baby, right? That's one thing. But on top of that, what he's making the point is that what you do doesn't matter because you're dust, and your legacy doesn't matter to anything. So whatever you do here really should just be about your own hedonistic pleasures. Who gives a shit? Whether you're good or bad, you're still going to be dead in the end. So who gives a shit? The legacy aspect of it, throwing the legacy part out the window, means that the ethical, moral meaning of your life is just as useless as your carcass. Helen Wills says, just don't hurt anyone. He's not making that case at all. Listen to what he says. And the Stoics don't make the case that you are, that you're dust and that's all that matters. That they believe that the ethic survives beyond your existence and it has worth to continue it ever forward so that your progeny or those that you shape, that your life had meaning in that regard. So you didn't end it all for everybody else. Fuck everything up, right? And look at this dude. I don't know why I'm surprised, but this is a line farther than I even thought he would go. And again, I don't know what it is with, right-wing announcers and right-wing spokespeople with baby voices, none of them have a voice that gets past 8th grade. I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah. It's like the lack of understanding of it. And of course, the joy in watching a grown man. Now, granted, I don't necessarily want to go there, but it could just be that it's a black man talking to a black girl, and watching a black girl get her dreams crushed is kind of, would show up in his Pornhub results. You know what I mean? Oh, Colleen, bless you. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. My fucking God. Honestly, I think that's part of why he enjoys it, because he doesn't feel attached to a man telling a young girl this because they're both black. It's why he watches Charlemagne the God and thinks the they, and then, oh, fuck, was there? Yeah, Ezra Klein was the only non-black person that he featured in this. And he only featured him because, Ezra Klein agrees with him. Everybody else in the video, including them, Karine Jean-Pierre, Joy Reid, Charlemagne the God, they're all black. Maybe that's why it's easier for him to fucking they and them human beings, like a little girl being told by a prize fighter who bit another dude's ear off in his last major fight, bit a chunk of his ear off in his last major fight, and was known for sexual assault and all kinds of other stuff, was no George Foreman, let's just say. And getting off on watching this dude go, our life doesn't mean anything. We're just fucking dust and nothing matters ultimately, and getting off on that. Look at the glee in his fucking face. It's super weird.
Mike Tyson on philosophy would be, I would listen to that show every day. That'd be amazing. I'm going to explain to you about a little bit.
This motherfucker.
Augustine and what he was saying about the city of God. I want it. I want him on Sartre. Existentialism. Let me tell you about existentialism. The idea that...
All right. right now, the root of this joke, ladies and gentlemen, is that a dumb voice saying, talking about smart topics is something that he finds amusing. That's all. That's it. It is. It's the standard crisscross in comedy. Yeah.
You don't mean nothing, except you walking around a cold, empty universe on a rock, on a godforsaken rock, and all you got is your will, how you react to that. That's life, man. And then you die, and don't mean nothing. I'm pitching this show for Daily Wire Plus. I am Mike Tyson on philosophy. 10 out of 10. Love it. Are you tired of the lies and the...
What the fuck is that? No, I'm tired of this shit. I don't even know what that fucking show was. Is that how that, by the way, is that how that show works? Is that what he, because every time I've ever seen him, it's just a fucking geek reading the news off his laptop loudly in a Starbucks. That's the whole show. Good. Yeah, vocal blackface. That's effectively what it was. Yeah, I would say effectively that's what he was doing. I mean, it's just like low-res racism passing off as like an inside joke, which is what assholes think is comedy. I don't know, all my friends laugh at it. It's your fucking problem. You guys just don't know what's funny. Right, that's the reaction. Jesus Christ, what a mess. Ben, you're a pipsqueak piece of shit. Period. That's just lame. And I would dust up your choice of clips so it's not inherently obvious that you're not just dunking on black people all the time and thinking you're getting points with God knows fucking who. Hey, I think if you really think about it, like Ben thinks his name is Ben Shapiro. I'm sorry. Hot. Buttered. Sausage. All right, so next up, by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I'll try to blaze through these next few clips because, good Lord. Apparently, I have been under the impression, as I think most people are, that those that have come into the country illegally or through, the asylum system or have been living under the radar in the United States, whatever, are in no hurry to be deported. But apparently, according to this dipshit, Chip Roy, he thinks they are. Chip Roy, we have 1 million people who are ready to be deported. Now, this is Texas, okay? And that's a major dent in the workforce. Just saying. We'll see what he means, because believe me, the one upside to Trump's bullshit sealing the border, right? The one upside to it is that it will choke off the economy of Texas as far as a transit hub for goods coming into the country, and those things will have to be diverted and put to sea and have to come in through Long Beach or, I guess, out to Florida and North Carolina, South Carolina, that kind of thing. Maybe Louisiana a bit.
We're calling because our roommate went out for a run at 9. He usually runs like...
Oh, this is the Lake and Riley thing. Motherfucker. And they're going to use this call. By the way, again, the last thing, she was killed by a Venezuelan who was a minor when he entered the country. And Donald Trump gave Venezuelans a 1.5-year pass as his last act in office in 2021.
With Eric behind grad housing, and we haven't heard from her.
He went hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus. And in his hunt, he encountered 22-year-old Laken Riley. When Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock. The evidence will show that Laken fought She fought for her life. She fought for her dignity.
Horrific, right? The detail.
Yes, it's horrific. And Donald Trump gave this dude a 1.5 year pass to walk around. He gave them all deferred enforcement.
In the trial that began today, the murder of college student Laken Riley, the suspect Jose Ibarra, an illegal alien.
By the way, according to Trump, what he wants to do is take guys like Jose Ibarra, this guy who killed her, and deport them immediately. You know what that means? A free ticket home, because this guy didn't commit a crime in his home country. So they're not going to put him in jail. One of the reasons why they were like, Obama couldn't get them to take these people is because he had to do a prisoner transfer. They had to open up jail cells, make these, there was paperwork to be done between the two countries to assure that these people were given a fair trial in the United States and weren't just ramrodded. And then they put them in there. Like there was an actual judicial element of removing criminals from the United States and sending them back to Venezuela or Guatemala or any of these other countries. Trump just wants to drop them the fuck off. What happens when they get out of the plane? Nothing. This asshole did not commit a crime in Venezuela. The second he steps off the plane, by their judicial standards, he's an innocent man. Trump doesn't want him to go to jail and stay in jail. Just understand that. Understand that. Like, Trump wants this guy just given a free flight home. So what does that mean if you're an Iranian terrorist or a saboteur from the Yemen or like the Houthis or somebody in South America who wants to do some damage? You just come up here, fuck around, set fires, do whatever you want to do, and then if you want to go home, just kill somebody. And Donald Trump will give you a free flight home, and you'll be greeted like a hero on your return.
From Venezuela, Laken did fight for her life. She did try to call 911. It didn't work. The call was dropped. If convicted, he could face life in prison without the possibility of parole. Joining us now from House Judiciary.
Oh, no. Don't worry. He won't get life in prison without the possibility of parole. If Trump gets, when Trump gets in and puts his AG in charge, whether it's Matt Gaetz or somebody else, that guy will just be given a fucking plane ticket back to Venezuela where, that might even qualify as his gang initiation.
Texas Congressman Chip Roy. First, I want to clarify, it's unclear, when the call dropped, what happened. We're not blaming 911 at all. It's just that was the fact that happened. So, Congresswoman, when you hear this heartbreaking story, what does it tell you? I mean, people out there are saying it's encapsulating the anger nationwide over the horrific crimes and the disgraceful chaos in the border collapse.
Yeah, great to be on. Obviously, we saw a lot of the horrific testimony today. Felt such emotion.
Yeah, you did. You felt such emotion. You really did. Hold on one second. I want to bring something up, if I may. Just to remind everybody, of the certain Venezuelan nationals, it was effectively everybody. And it certainly qualified as minors, which that guy was. He was 17 at the time. This was the last thing Trump did when he left office on January 20th, 2021. It's the last thing he did so that it would last the longest. And he didn't use temporary protected status, TPS, which is what the Haitians in Springfield had, because that meant they would be monitored and interviewed and go through this entire process. It was just delayed enforcement. It just punted a 1.5 years, 18 months. And at the end of that 18 months, they went to the back of the line with everybody else. Maggots, explain this. I'll wait. Why did he do it? Why? I know why. Yeah, I know exactly why. Because they were planning on running on an anti-immigration thing in the midterms. And he was hoping something would happen effectively. And they used the, oh my gosh, commie Venezuela as cover. I didn't do this. I didn't make this up. This wasn't under the table. This wasn't something found by a fucking committee. Trump did this, yeah, to fuck Biden on his way out the door. He wanted a big group of immigrants that were here illegally to run on next time, and he was hoping some of it would pop off. Yep. Yeah, I don't know why I'm the only person that brings this up. This was literally the last thing he did. His last official act as president. And he used deferred enforcement departure program to offer them temporary legal status instead of temporary protected status. Because that allows them to get work permits, and that means that they have to be vetted. DED just punts it, so they can't work, and they just loiter around. They get frozen in place for a year and a half. Good Lord.
For Lakin's family, her mom in the courtroom watching the testimony. But this is the simple reason, I think the primary and the biggest reason why President Trump was elected with a massive mandate.
Because nobody knows that he was directly responsible for why that guy was in the country still. If he'd have given him TPS, he would have been bounced. Even as a minor. He would have been out of the country by the time she went jogging that night.
American people want us to deliver. They want us to remove people. They want the mass deportations. They want the secure border so that this doesn't happen to their daughter. This doesn't happen to their child. And it's not just Laken.
Or if it does, it at least happens by an American.
Laken Riley.
You know, with an AR-15 and from a state like fucking Mississippi or Alabama where you get months for sexual assault, not years.
You all know, right? We've talked about, Jocelyn Nungray, who was murdered just this July. Her beautiful mom, Alexis, was out on the campaign trail campaigning for Donald Trump and Ted Cruz and me and others. And, the American people are sick and tired of this.
Because she was in Texas? Why didn't Customs and Border Patrol catch this person? Why weren't they locally rounded up? What were all the local cops doing? Maybe it was because you guys are in bed with the dudes that hire people illegally, and they like being able to pay them under the table and threaten them.
And they want to see action. And I think the testimony today is part of this continued process of the American people understanding what's really happened to our country with what.
Yeah, what really happened to our country. What really happened, Chip? What really happened, buddy?
Wide open borders. I was speaking today with my good friend Tom Homan.
Also, wide open borders. So according to Chip Roy, Republican from Texas, the Customs and Border Patrol at the border in Texas is not stopping anyone from coming through. That's your testimony. That's what you're saying. That they've just stopped enforcing the law. That Biden told them to, and they said yes. Is that the idea? Because that's not at all what fucking happened. And it's not at all what's been happening.
And what we've got in terms of plans, both in terms of Congress and what the Trump administration is going to do. And we have a job to do. We have 1 million people who are ready to be deported, who have been given issues of deportation that this administration is not deporting. We have 2 million gotaways. We have people that are affiliated with terrorists.
Also, you don't know how many gotaways you have. No, you don't. The gotaway number is a made up fucking number. Again, these guys are against undocumented people being counted in the census, specifically because if we did it, you'd realize there were far fewer than they say. There's probably about 10.3 million, less than the 11 million there were during when Reagan did amnesty back in the 80s.
Organization, people with known criminal backgrounds who've been released into our communities to kill Americans. They all need to.
No. That's okay. That's also a wiggle. That the known criminal backgrounds means we know they snuck across the border, and anybody who breaks the law by crossing the border is a criminal, therefore a criminal background. The other thing, too, is if they had TPS, you look through them, you vet them, they can't get a job permit or any of that kind of stuff, and then they get deported if they're going through the TPS system. If they go through DED, nobody even looks. That's why Trump specifically chose DED.
Be deported, and they need to be deported almost on day one. We need plans in place. We need to move. I believe Trump administration and Tom Homan will do that, but Congress is going to.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'd really like to see is arrest anybody who was employing them. They need to do time. How about that? And I can give you a tip. I don't know. Can I call the tip line? Because it's a known fact that Mar-a-Lago has been employing undocumented immigrants for a long fucking time. I can't imagine what it's like at Doral or Bedminster or any of these other dumps.
I have to support them, and I frankly don't want to hear excuses out of my Republican colleagues that we're not gonna. We need to give them what they need, not just money, but policies so they can carry it out.
Yeah, Obama.
Sorry, what policy are you talking about?
Biden has been deporting. So is Clinton. What's interesting is so many military.
Sorry, what was that again?
Biden has been deporting. So is Clinton. What's interesting is so many military.
So has Clinton. I think she means Bill. Yeah, the numbers for deportations under Democrats are higher than the numbers for deportation under Republicans. It's amazing that this has been allowed to be turned on its fucking head.
Vets and Border Patrol vets and men and women coming out of retirement to do the work, too. Congressman Roy, a pleasure to have you on, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Fucking gibberish. Half, this is a 3-minute segment, 3 minutes, 24 seconds. Half of it is fucking Lake and Riley, maybe even more. Shit. Yeah, 2/3 of it. Basically, are him talking about Lake and Riley and them showing clips from the trial and all that kind of shit. And then the rest of it's like, we got to let them do their thing while showing video of them doing their fucking thing. All right, if the border's wide open, why do the cops have their lights on? What, are they helping them walk? I'm sorry, are those aren't police cars. They're just covered in hue lights. They're just playing disco music to help ease the burden of walking through the fucking desert to job one. What are you talking about? Where in this is anybody just fucking, where's the footage of the wide open border? Where is it? They catch these people, and most of these folks get turned right around. That's the thing they also don't show you, is the fucking bus dropping them off. Yeah, it's a police escort while they just walk alongside you, just playing YMCA. There's another one. There they are, getting lined up and taken into custody. Here's, oh my God, I can barely see the water for all the fucking people. Millions of people streaming across the border. Oh, dear God. Here's the thing. Trump is going to claim victory, and so is this fuckwad, and so is Ted Cruz and all these other idiots. They're going to claim victory because they got rid of a bunch of people that were never there in the first place. They're going to come out, somebody from the fucking census or something else is going to come out and go, we have 10.3 million people in the country, the exact same fucking number it was when he took office. And they're going to go, we cut the number in half. We've deported 10 million people. 10 million fictional fucking people. I mean, honestly, these are vapor immigrants they're going to be deporting. And the whole thing of like, we're going to deport all the criminals and murderers first. You mean the ones that have been tried and found guilty in a court of law and are in jail, and you're going to take them out of their prison sentence, which they've got 20 years to life or whatever, and you're just going to drive them to the border and say bye and go, hope you don't murder anybody else. We had you incarcerated where we could make sure you don't kill anybody else. But, you watch yourself, mister. Don't come back in here and kill anybody. Just wait till they vacation down where you are, and then it's not our fault. Fuck them. They are going to pretend. One of the reasons why Trump has inflated this fucking immigration number so much is that he can say on day one, 5 million people are gone because they were never here in the first fucking place. Just lazy. And again, please, if there's a promise that Donald Trump can follow through on, it's seal the border with Texas and Mexico. Seal it. Nothing gets through. No trucks. No nothing. No trucks. No machinery. No farm goods. No fucking avocados. Nothing. No cars. Nothing that's shipped into Mexico and then is driven up through. Zero. Texas. Seal the fucking border. Turn Texas into fucking Iowa. Because that's what you'll do. Because so much, Mexico is our single biggest trading partner, and Texas is the conduit by which 80% of it comes into the country. Shut it the fuck down. I'm sure Arizona and Nevada would love the transit fees. I'm sure they would love the tolls. Seal that shit up. And if you don't want any land border at all, fucking build a wall and close it like King Kong's fucking gate. And what'll happen? Long Beach will become the single busiest port on earth. What a fucking dope. Rip Texas. Nope. Rest in power, Texas. No. Fuck Texas. If they want to follow Mr. Bankrupt a casino into the greatest economic hardship they've ever seen, then I say fucking go for it. Yes, seal the borders. Zero. Nothing crosses until we can figure out what's going on. And I don't think Trump's ever going to figure out what's going on. So let's just consider the Texas border with Mexico permanently shut. We can't, apparently, according to Chip Roy and all these other assholes, we can't trust the Customs and Border Patrol down there anyways. All these gotaways, and they're not even doing their job in the first place. The border's wide open, right? Well, who's opening it? The president didn't open it, didn't order it open. His Homeland Security Secretary says it's closed. The vice president has said it's closed. Everybody's like, it's not open. Don't come through. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz is on TV with Chip Roy and fucking Greg Abbott. Everybody from Texas, when they get on television on Fox News, says the border's wide fucking open. So who the fuck do you think they're listening to? Huh? If you're a migrant watching a news story south of the border and you get the wild hair up your ass to go for it and cross the border, are you listening to the State Department or the Homeland Security Secretary or the President of the United States or the Vice President saying the border is closed? No, you're listening to all the people on Fox News to a fucking person saying, hey, it's wide open. Nobody's even stopping anybody. You just come right in. They just let you go. Oh, shit. Well, get me a bus ticket. You can't find any Democrats saying the border's open, and you can't even find any that say it should anymore. But that's all Republicans say on the news. Non-fucking stop. So if a migrant heard the border's open, come on in, they heard it from a Republican. Period. Don't say period. It reminds me of something I use too many exclamation points. I've been told that in emails. Everything is all caps. It's like a MAGA rally, all caps. So, I love how my face is all squinched up when I'm doing the character with that bucket. To make that face do what it's supposed to do, I actually have to contort myself. Okay, now, next up, another dumbass. Jim Jordan reveals his goals for a House majority, which I believe is if there's any sexual assault, he'll look the other way.
Our Congressman Jim Jordan, who's been there all along.
Also, by the way, is it just me or is Brian Kilmeade drinking from the same weird magic fountain that Charlie Kirk drinks from that makes your head bigger and your face shrink? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, it seems like they all sip from the same... I should have never taken that cookie from that old witch. It was a mistake, and I won't make it again. Also pinchy face. Also pinchy voice.
In the House Judiciary Committee, serves on the House Oversight Committee, and I wanted you to hear that, Congressman, because there was a...
All right, just put it on the fucking clip. If you're playing something he's going to react to, fuck is wrong with you, Fox News? This is their clip. I didn't pull this. They fucking did this. It's a 6-minute clip. You couldn't add 30 seconds more to the top of it so we know what the fuck he's referencing, you weirdo?
When you were one of the few standing by his side, your thoughts about how he got to where he is?
He's an amazing individual. The perseverance, the tenacity, the character to live through what he's lived through over the last...
He's a sociopath. Sociopaths don't have to have perseverance. It's like saying, oh my God, how do lizards crawl through the desert? By being a fucking lizard.
10 years is truly amazing. And as you said, the greatest political comeback in history, won the 7...
is literally the smallest margin in 80 years. And they haven't even finished counting all the votes in California yet. It's like a 1.7% margin. By comparison, Obama and even Biden had super mandates to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do.
Swing states, won 30 states, won the popular vote, won an electoral college landslide, did something Teddy Roosevelt couldn't do. I mean, it is amazing to see. And what?
Sorry, Teddy Roosevelt could fire a gun, ride a horse, drive a car, walk down a ramp without assistance. Shall I go on?
I find most interesting is in the past week and a half, as I'm traveling about, I was in the airport, people will walk by and they'll give you the thumbs up. There'll be a little twinkle in their eye. They'll wink at you. I had one of the airport workers look at me. When I go down the ramp, he catches up to me and he says, wasn't Tuesday a great day? And I mean, it's just, you see.
Oh, you think that Tuesday was a great day? Wait till you're automated out of a job.
See that happening. So this individual is amazing, and he has brought a new coalition. Think about this, Brian. Did you ever think you'd see Donald Trump, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard on the same team? They're on the same team because they...
Yes. Yeah. It's called Putin's pals. Yes. Obviously, they're on the same team. They were on the same team when he was running as a Democrat. They were on the same team when she was running as a Democrat. Fuck are you talking about? Yeah. The only thing shocking is that they're just they've just given up on it, and they're just straight up saying they're on the team now.
No, we all know he's the guy fighting for our liberties, for our First Amendment free speech rights, and for
citation needed.
Middle class, working class people all over this country. It is great to see.
Right.
And how would that, you know what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be real. These are just phrases.
Now you're probably still...
That's enough, okay? That's enough. He should just be able to say the phrase, working people, working class, working for working people and when they're working, and trying to get them working so that he can work for them while they're working on working. And people should just hear the word working, and then your eyes start to spiral, and then you're suddenly you feel this like kind of lightness in the pit of your stomach, and your eyes roll back in your head, and then thud.
His favorite wrestler, but Hulk Hogan is his second favorite wrestler on the Trump team, and you don't rip off your shirt on camera, but we'll work on that a little bit later in the year. Now you got the trifecta, you got the House. It's just official this week, late this week. It's not much of a margin. Can you let everybody at home know what?
Not much of a margin. It's a landslide, dummy.
What's first?
Well, we need to do tax cuts, reauthorize the tax cuts that helped our economy grow so much under President Trump. Then we need to...
Yeah, no. No, you're going to have to pay for it, and that's what you're going to have to do first. Because one of the reasons why a lot of Republican senators signed on it is because it was temporary. Because it would phase out. It'd be a temporary infusion. And they won't make it permanent. They'll extend it into the next presidency so that hopefully they can run on it in the midterms into the next term of whoever's in there specifically. They've got to keep punting it. If they make it permanent, fuck do I need you for?
Secure the border, of course. That was one of the key issues, the economy.
Yeah, shut Texas's border. Absolutely. Shut it down. Seal Texas in. Put a cloche over it.
Securing the border. And part of growing our economy, too, then, is common sense energy policy, common sense regulatory policy.
Well, then it should be easy to explain. What is common sense regulatory policy? Besides E. coli for everyone.
And then continue our work in making sure Americans' freedoms, their free speech rights, their sex.
Yeah, like my freedom to be on here and say, fuck you, you lazy piece of shit who knew about sexual assault and did nothing about it and should, and I should have the freedom of information to act upon getting the report about you covering for sexual assault while you were at OSU so that can be released to the public because freedom of speech, man. I agree. It's nice that, see, bridges are already being built.
Second Amendment rights, their First Amendment liberties, their Fourth Amendment liberties, make sure those are protected. And these agencies, who he's putting good people in charge.
Oh, sorry, everybody. Sorry. I mean, I should have expected it, but I didn't expect it to come on so hot and heavy like that. Some people have been, having sleep difficulty lately, and some of them were attributing it to the election results and that kind of stuff. But also, I think a good portion of people's reactions have been just to the frequency with which Trump's nunt has been on television. I apologize I should probably lead the show with that from now on. Just assume that, but I'll remind, because we have new viewers all the time, because it's the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm Hal Sparks, the most Hal Sparks you'll ever Hal Sparks in your whole Hal Sparks in life. Okay, here we go. Now let's go back to our regularly nunty program.
Charge of.
Honestly, that's just filth. Like how that thing doesn't set off Mike Johnson's porn app, I'll never know.
Are going to serve the people, not be weaponized against we the people.
I mean, if it's got to be pegging the gilf meter at the very least.
That is fundamental. And then finally, what Mr. Musk and Mr. Ramaswamy are doing, getting at the ridiculous waste in government so they can come forward with a report. We can implement that.
Yeah, come forward with a report, baby. Because you know why? You know why you come forward with a report? Because it's not a department. It's a fucking committee. That's why. Departments don't have to come forward with reports. Departments just get funded, and then they spend their funding as you go. This is a committee. It's a committee on government efficiency, which is bullshit, and it's coog.
Pass that and make this government actually work for we the people.
So I know you're going to be chairman, you're going to be a member of oversight and chairman of the Judiciary Committee, but can you now take H.R. 2, which Senator Schumer ignored, and give it to Senator Thune, the majority leader, and get something like that passed, or do you have to rewrite it? And H.R. 2 is a more conservative, tougher border measure.
Yeah, I think we do both. I hope we pass it early on in the House, pass H.R. 2, or break it up into key segments. And one of the key things.
Oh, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first official goalpost moving exercise. That's right, one of our favorite games that they play over on the Republican side is take that goalpost and move it a little further. When you said you were, I could kick a 75-yard field goal right through the uprights. This is no problem whatsoever. Move it a little closer, though. Bring it in a little bit closer. As a matter of fact, my aim isn't that great, so make 3 of them, and maybe I'll hit one of them just by 3 of them being. Keep moving them in. Keep moving them in this way. Yeah. Most people move the goalpost that way, so it makes it harder for everybody else. We move the goalpost this way, make it easier for ourselves. That way, we don't have to cover any ground. Gain any ground, put up a good offense or a defense, we can just pretend we're winners and get a participation trophy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Participation Trophy Congress.
Of course, is we codified the Remain in Mexico policy, which is so darn important. So we pass it early.
It is so darn important.
And then you use this process reconciliation, which is a fancy way of saying you can get past the 60-vote hurdle in the Senate. Use that to implement, to put the legislation in that vehicle to get it done for the American people and ultimately secure our border.
So hopefully you get that done in months. Also get rid of that app that lets Cubans, Venezuelans, Haitians get automatic.
Yeah, fucking like that Venezuelans get some sort of a pass. All of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like if I heard about more Venezuelan migrant crime during, oh shit, what's that? Trump grants Venezuelans temporary legal status on his way out. U.S. will defer for 18 months removal of certain Venezuelans. Is this brand new? My God, what in the world is he talking about? This is the President Donald Trump on Tuesday announced he will offer Venezuelan exiles protection from deportation, a move he has considered for years but refused to do until his last full day in office. Oh, this was last time, 1/19/2021. Look at that, 1/19/2021. Last day in office, last full day in office. That was the last thing he did. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder. So anybody who came in during that year and a half, or who had already been here, got a pass, got a punt. And shit, if you came in, within a year, you could still kind of fall under that if nobody saw you. You could say, no, I've been here for a while. Huh.
Birth into the country, taking over cities and towns. So that would immediately knock down the numbers coming across the border and let those border communities exhale, and maybe the cities get out from underneath. Something else that Donald Trump was repudiated for during the campaign was saying that FEMA was actually giving favored treatment to Democratic areas. And anybody with a Trump sign or any Trump supporter was being ignored. The New York...
No. And again, this story has been so fucking tap danced around. Fuck you. There were people, anybody with a MAGA sign, it was FEMA people were getting shot at or threatened with guns. So they're like, yeah, give them a wide berth unless they want you to come in. Unless, you can wave at them. If they wave you over, then help them out. But steer clear so you don't die. We need you you need to live so that we can get the help to people who need it.
Rebuked him, said that was misinformation. Now we find out through text messages it was absolutely true.
No, you don't. It was not absolutely true. It's bullshit. It was a genuine concern because you guys have ginned up over the years with this fucking FEMA camp bullshit through Alex Jones that these motherfuckers they're coming to take your farm or drive you off, or they're going to put you in a fucking FEMA camp, and then they're going to take your land and take the lithium underneath it like we fucking need it because the Salton Sea is full of this shit. Oi.
Your thoughts about where we go from here and how prevalent this actually was.
Well, two things. One,
Please, do a hearing on it. Committee the fuck out of this. Bring everybody in. Knock yourself the fuck out. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's going to lose their job. They're going to come in and defend themselves, and they're going to go, yeah, we had people shot at, so we were telling them, be a little careful, do your due diligence before you walk into certain areas. If they're covered in, like, MAGA flags and shit like that, think twice. As long as you're not leaving somebody who's in dire straits, you might want to tap on the next door, and you can even ask them, is that person okay? Or can you give them a call? They're your neighbor because we're afraid they will shoot at us. Like, that's reasonable.
It's amazing how often President Trump is right when the media, how he had it, how he nailed it.
He didn't have it. He didn't nail it. He was wrong. This is dumb. Bullshit. 100%. Fuck you.
Second, this is a textbook example of government being weaponized for political reasons.
No, it is not. Well, yeah, you doing this and attacking FEMA, yeah, that's a textbook example.
Skip the Trump houses, go to, you can't get a more blatant example of the weaponization of government, of politics involved in government agencies, something that shouldn't happen.
Bring them in, motherfucker. Interview all of them. Interview the people on the ground, the FEMA people. Ask them questions and let Democrats ask them why they felt nervous. When you called your boss and you were like, this dude is in the window with a gun and his fucking lawn is covered in MAGA flags and we're trying to get him to come out in case he needs help, but he's yelling obscenities at us, and we just moved on to the next house and like, okay, that neighborhood, be careful. If walk to the next house if it doesn't have flags, and then ask them about that person, which is exactly what fucking happened.
happen. Next Tuesday, we have the first hearing on this. We're going to have the director of FEMA in. So this investigation has been launched by Chairman Comer. I think it's entirely.
Yeah, and with his track record,
appropriate. We're going to dig into this and find out if it was an isolated incident or if, in fact, it was commonplace and widespread.
And your tax dollars will pay for this circle jerk. I swear to God, like, James Comer is probably if you want to cut some waste from the federal government, hey, Doge, you Koch motherfuckers, Ramaswamy, Musk, you want to go after a giant hole in the fucking budget that goes fucking nowhere? How about all of Comer's investigations? Waste of fucking time. Never actually offer any legal charges for any of the shit that they talk about. They ramble about this fucking nonsense on and fucking on. Never passing a piece of legislation. Never putting anything together. Good Lord.
That tells me it's commonplace and widespread because that's been the Biden administration. That's been their. No,
it hasn't. That was what Trump did. You're remembering during COVID when Trump was like, at one point, they had to leave the distribution of emergency supplies to Pence because Trump wanted to deny them to any governor that wasn't nice to him or didn't suck his balls.
Operation Standard, whether it was
gibberish, fuck you. And the assumption that people would go, like, if you see a MAGA house, fuck them. And people on the ground in FEMA are like, okay. And they walk by somebody who's like got a fucking 2x4 jabbed in their chest because of they were in the hurricane and they're barely holding on. They're like, sorry, you got a MAGA flag, fuck you. Like that happened at all. It didn't. Go ahead and have your fucking committees. It will be the same waste of fucking time. You'll yell at some people who are trying to do a real job from Washington, which is exactly what you motherfuckers complain about all the time.
You know, investigating parents at school board meetings, saying if they.
Nobody investigated parents at school board meetings unless they threatened people. They investigated death threats, you dummy.
FBI putting out a memo saying if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist.
Nope. By the way, all Catholics are pro-life. It's built into it. If you're an extremist pro-life Catholic and you're part of certain groups, then that's who they have to keep an eye out for. You know why? Because they'll fucking kill you. They'll shoot somebody. They're the people who murdered Tiller. Hold on. Checking something. One moment. Gotcha. Okay.
They've been political from the get-go.
No, they have not.
But this investigation has been launched by Chairman Comer. We're going to dig into it starting next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to fucking nail it. Starting next Tuesday, it's going to be nothing but magic. It's like the OJ trial meets the Menendez trial meets fucking Golden State Killer and Michael Jackson. It's going to be fucking must see TV. Just I'm so excited, can barely stand it. And let me guess, it will go fucking nowhere, and you'll yell at people who actually work for a living. That's pretty much.
And Congressman, we have our Weather Channel correspondent still with.
Also, somebody just said, wrong, Hal, I'm a pro-choice Catholic. Well, you're a bad Catholic by Catholic standards, and that's totally fine with me.
Some of those hurricane victims, North Carolina really needs a lot. I don't think their governor's responding. And then I got a new.
Fuck you. Gibberish. The idea that the governor's like, fuck my people in my state. Get out of here. You're going to tell somebody has, like, this, okay. Never mind the fact that Jim Jordan is always shitting on Washington and he's been there for a fucking decade now. And he hardly ever leaves. He spends way more time there than he spends in Ohio, period. And if he never has to go back to Ohio, he never will. And this motherfucker, who works on Fox and has his little, like, pissant radio show that he does on a loop every day, who probably the extent of like the material existence of his life is like Ben Shapiro level woodworking. Telling people like a governor who's dealt with a hurricane or FEMA people to go fuck themselves. It's just gross. It's just gross.
Governor in, you guys got to go in there, especially if FEMA is going to be under the Biden rules of if it's a Trump sign, walk the...
Nobody's doing that. Nobody at all. That's not the rule. That's not the Biden rule. Never was the rule. Fuck you. How is it? Congratulations, Jim Jordan. You managed to find the one person who could interview you who comes off as more of a prick than you are. That's impressive. That's not easy. It's very difficult. It really is. I mean, this man is the brown standard, is the shit standard for what it is to be gross and lame and criminal, quite frankly. And so for this guy to like circumvent the power of your shittiness is impressive.
The other way.
Yeah. No, we do. Your government's not supposed to operate that way.
It doesn't operate that way. It did under Trump.
Again, I think it's why. I think what President Trump, you see all these people he's nominating for these key agencies.
And almost all of them have a sexual assault charge. Weird. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Matt Gaetz, Hegseth. They all are fucking rapey as shit. Weird. Why is that? I mean, it's not even like it's you know, some sort of like long dead story that people have forgotten about that may or may not have been true. We're not talking about like Brett Kavanaugh level stuff where, you know, I believe that's a real story, but it was so long ago that they were able to punt on it effectively. This is recent shit. Like in months. Is that I guess, is that part of the vetting process? And did you? I noticed you didn't check the box under confirmed sexual assault. Is it because you're against it? No. I'm not against it. I just haven't had the opportunity. Well, we'll make sure you get that. That's good.
He wants a certain attitude because that's what the American people voted for. An attitude that says these agencies will serve we the people, we the taxpayers, and we need to get
we the rapey McForehead.
Government smaller, more efficient, working for the taxpayers. That is the mindset, and I love the folks he is nominating and putting forward.
All right.
Yes, you love them. They love you. And you're all just going to get all oiled up in the middle of on the floor in there. Be careful. It's a very hard floor. You don't want to slip too much. And go for it.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun week in the interim.
No, it's not. This is gross. You're gross. It's going to be gross.
Leading through the holidays. And then, of course, January 20th, we'll see if the president gets the biggest crowd in the history of the presidency and the inaugural.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm sure it'll be interesting if the weather allows. Congressman Jordan, thanks so much.
Yeah, give yourself that out, or you can blame the fucking weather.
You bet. Thank you, Brian. Take care.
Jesus. Oh, and they're going to punish us more by playing Jesse Waters at the tail end of that? Holy shit. Okay. I'm getting through them pretty well. All right, real quick. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. So this is a little like post-election ad that Trump is running called It's Time. A place for Donald.
We can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States. He will be going back to the White House.
Yeah, when they have to show your fucking plane because you can't be in your ad. We'll see what they play. Yeah, him walking, macho as shit. And cars. Oh, you're gonna use that long shot of him dragging his leg again, showing that he fucking walks funky? That's a good idea, you think? Hold on, I'm gonna turn the audio down on this too. This is the AI. Yeah, that's the drag leg.
I will fight for you, for your family, and your future with every breath in my body.
How many breaths do you hold in your body at any given time? By the way, this doesn't count as breath, just in case. Want you to know that. So, also, this is, I guess, him driving down to the border to punch some migrants. I'm here to get my thumbs up at the people. Oh, fuck you. The dude's saluting this while his back is to him. Like, this is just gross.
Stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. We're going to lead the greatest comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
Really? Well, I guess it is his presidency more than anybody's. I mean, I think that's the one thing that we do have to remind Trump is that he really is just, people elected him because, you know, he wasn't born in this country, so Musk can't be president. So Trump is basically the placeholder for the Musk presidency. And I think it's up to us to remind Trump all the time that it's Musk's world and it's Musk's Oval Office and he's just serving in it. Really? I guess this is a shot of her in Hawaii. AI cleaned up.
God spared my life for a reason.
Yeah. So you could show everybody what real failure looks like at the expense of your fellow Americans.
Restore America to greatness.
Restir? Sorry, restir?
Spared my life for a reason. To restore America to greatness.
To restir America. You couldn't find he said that a bunch of times. You couldn't find a better take? Ah, fuck it, who cares?
Together we can truly make America great.
We can truly make
America to greatness. Together we can truly make America great.
Make America great. Really, you couldn't find one clean cut of those lines? He said them all the time. Shit, I probably have them in my audio somewhere.
Again.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. I'm sure somewhere a maggot is getting goosebumps. Really just going to play that out. Just going to let that roll. Just let it kind of fucking just silently have the 47. You guys are really phoning it in, aren't you? At this point, just figure, well, yeah, America's not going to exist in a couple of months anyway. So why bother? Jesus Christ. Worst movie trailer ever. Yeah. And all right, one last thing. This is I want to try to focus on sort of the material reality of the Trump campaign, not just the kind of like worrisome what if he things, which is part of the don't obey in what is it? Don't comply ahead of time and don't panic ahead of time either, would be my advice. But this is Johnson just squeaked by in their internal vote, and Thune winning in the Senate means that the Senate is drawing some serious lines about what they're going to put up with, and he's not going to usurp their power because, again, you got to remember, whatever Trump wants, there's a bunch of those senators that, on the Republican side that would like to be president one day, and they want to be president of the United States. They don't want to be president of the CCP version of the United States. They actually want to be president. Thune is one of those people. And so he's not going to let Trump completely screw the pooch, or he won't be able to run himself. So they're going to be pushing back on this, not because they give a shit about us, and not because they're against everything he's going to do, because they're not. And I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm going to find something real quick. I want to show you something that I was watching. I probably will get a copyright strike, but fair use being what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I want to show you something that where are we? My history. There we go. Go to this one, and let's see. This one. It's the news one. That's the I don't know where. Yeah, it had to be in there, I suppose. Let me see real quick. Trying to find. I can't find. Hold on. Pause. I'll know it when I see it. Oh yes, here we go. Is it? Yeah. So there was an episode of. Where is it? There we go. No, that's the Christmas thing. Christmas episode. It's the episode on WKRP in Cincinnati. It's not the one you're thinking of. It's the one where the mission burns down, and they need a new kitchen for the place, and they're trying to raise money to fix it. And is that it? Shit. Anyways, there's one of the episodes. Fuck me. I'm scrolling through it so I don't off camera so that I don't accidentally give myself a copyright strike by playing a piece of this. Hold on one second. Hold on. Nope. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Anyways, it's an episode where this on WKRP Cincinnati where the mission kitchen burns and they're trying to raise money, and Lonnie Anderson, hold on, I'll show you a picture, but I won't have the thing. Hold on, I can't play it because I'll get a copyright strike. God damn it. Fair use, God damn it. But there's an episode where Lonnie Anderson, who plays Jennifer, they're trying to raise money, and she knows all these rich people. So she throws a dinner party at her house, and she invites them over to meet the rich friends. And the rich friends are all going to build a new instead of just rebuilding the kitchen, they're going to rebuild they want to give them a whole new building and a piece of land, and they're really contributing. And there's this kind of back and forth about, like rich people doing checkbook charity, and Johnny Fever gets mad about it, and it's a back and forth. It's a little morality tale. But in it, one of the lady playing the wife of one of the rich guys says about Ronald Reagan, they're like, my husband just got back from California where he was meeting with the president, and he goes, how's the Gipper doing? And she goes, fantastic. He's going to cut this government to the bone, and he'll fix this government if it kills us all. It's the exact same story. Reagan ran on this idea of cutting the federal government to the absolute bare minimum. And people were talking about that the same way we were talking about this. We are now. Is the audio only under copyright? No. But if you play it, it could trigger the fucking. I know it's different on different platforms, and I'm on 4 platforms at once, so I got to be extra careful. But the important thing is there's this line, and it's in. This show was in 1984, 83, probably that episode. And she's like, "Yep, the Gipper's gonna cut it to the. He's cutting to the bone. He'll fix this government if it kills us all." And it's exactly the same shit. Grover Nordquist in the 90s, we got a government so small you could drown it in a bathtub. It's the same shit. But then they run on, all of them, run as Santa Claus, and then they don't want to be the Grinch when the time comes. So, anyways, Speaker Johnson warns against dangerous breach of protocol, I guess, in the release of the Gaetz ethics report, which apparently the GOP head of the ethics committee said we don't have to listen to the speaker and determine whether or not we release our report, which seems to point to the fact that there's a bunch of fucking Republicans going, release that shit, get him the fuck out of here. We don't need this.
Speaker, after a late night and an early morning, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Great to be with you.
Okay, so let's start here. The House...
Let's start here. Ooh, good.
The Ethics Committee has...
Don't look at the pretty lady. your phone will go off and your son will think you're doing the dirty.
It's been investigating one of President Trump's nominees, former Congressman now, Matt Gaetz, up for Attorney General. And they say that their Friday meeting was postponed, not canceled, but it doesn't look like that report that may have come from them is going to be released. Democrat Congressman Glenn Ivey sits on that ethics committee. Here's what he says about us ever seeing that report.
There's precedent for that. Can't really get into what's going on now, but the fact that someone has left the Congress does not mean that the report can't be released for additional information for that matter.
So you know our intrepid Chad Pergram, congressional correspondent, he says that there are at least 2 times a report has been released after a member left Congress. Why be against the transparency? And listen, this report may clear him. I mean, for somebody...
Yeah, it doesn't. Hey, ma'am, excuse me, miss, if I may, thank you very much. If it cleared him, do you think it'd be a problem? If it cleared him, do you think they'd be holding it back? If it cleared him and made all of his accusers look like fools or charlatans, do you think they would sit on it for a fucking second? Of course not. But we all look forward to whatever the fuck his response will be.
Who's going to be the top federal law enforcement officer in this country?
Yeah, so I don't know anything about the contents of the report because the way...
Fuck you. You do. That's look, I know what my audience knows about the contents of the report. We don't know the details of it, but we know some things that are in there because the lawyer for the women involved, sorry, one second. Let's see. Oh, thanks. Relive Blogspot. Oh, that episode? Thank you. From Sparkly Carl Smith. That's awesome. Okay, hold on one second. If I may. Let's how do we go? Let's see. Both calm down there. Johnny sticks his head through the top of the elevator. Nope. That's the fire in the building one. That's a different episode. That's KRP Relived. That's not the same episode. Just saying. But I appreciate the effort. I do. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yes. This asshole. If I know sections of it because the lawyer for the victims has said shit, this asshole knows what they've said as well. And I'm guessing what they said is also in the report. So the idea that he doesn't know anything that's in it is a flat out lie. This would, there's a commandment about this. I think it's bearing false witness.
The way the rules work, of course, the Speaker of the House can't put a thumb on the scale or be involved in an ethics committee report. What I do know is that the comments about this being, there's a precedent for releasing reports is not exactly accurate. Yeah, there were 2 breaches.
Hey, so you're just calling her reporter an asshole? Is that what's up? So there's a Fox News reporter that works for the show that you're on who said actually there is for 2 elements, and you're calling that guy a liar. Not me, not the other. Yeah, okay.
Of the tradition in the past under very extraordinary circumstances. I don't think...
This is pretty extraordinary because, again, if you just leave, there's a reason why they wouldn't show it, because you just skulked off into the night and you're not anybody's problem. And if you want to get arrested for something later on, that's up to your local law enforcement. But this asshole is trying to get a bigger job in the government, dum-dum. This is an extraordinary circumstance. This motherfucker is up for AG. You do not get more extraordinary than that unless he was maybe running for president. I'm surprised that honestly, that this report itself didn't qualify him to be his VP.
I think this meets that criteria. Look, Matt Gaetz is a colleague of mine. We've been serving together for more than 8 years. He's one of the brightest minds in Washington or anywhere for that matter. And he knows.
That's just gross. Fuck you. Do not shit talk America.
Knows everything about how the Department of Justice has been weaponized and
no, because he doesn't. And I'll tell you how I know he doesn't. Because he's actually guilty, it seems. Allegedly. And for someone to know how something was weaponized, he would have to have been completely innocent and wrongly accused. Then you really get to understand how weaponization of a government works, because it was weaponized against you. It's not weaponization if you're fucking guilty. And if you're being investigated because you're fucking guilty, the fuck do you know about weaponization? You just know what it's like to be a defendant, you dumb motherfucker.
And misused, and he will be a reformer. And I think that's why the establishment in Washington is so shaken up about this pick.
What the fuck's he gonna reform, you cretin? The age of consent?
But with regard to the report, there's a very important reason for the tradition and the rule that we have almost always followed, and that is that we don't issue investigations and ethics reports on people who are not members of Congress.
He was a member of Congress when this went on. He resigned to avoid it coming out. That is specifically one of the reasons why you would release it. Shut the fuck up. Like, this is just so lame. This is just weak. Weak sauce. Pathetic. No. You wouldn't buy this coming from a Democrat. You'd go, he's resigning just to get away from this. Like, piss off. What a twerp.
Afraid that would open a Pandora's box.
On what? Your other members? Do it. I give a fuck. Release the ethics reports on everybody. Knock yourself the fuck out. The Pandora's box would be the people who are actually innocent that were railroaded out, suing you for doing it and destroying their reputation. Matt Gaetz is not one of those people.
Because the jurisdiction of the Ethics Committee is limited to those who are serving in the institution. That's its very purpose.
Right, and he committed these crimes while he was serving in the institution. It still qualifies. It's not the same thing. It's not. You can't act like they're randomly picking Americans out and doing ethics reports on fucking Joe Schmo walking down the street in Idaho. It doesn't work that way.
I think this would be a breach of protocol that could be dangerous for us going forward in the future.
Why? Because you have a lot of ethics reports about Republicans who are diddling kids that you've kept hidden. You fucking creep.
So
Oh, yes. Jennifer and Johnny's charity. Thank you. I see that. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if this is in here. Yeah, stretch this out. There we go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it. There we go. Hold on one second. Pausing. Now, I will, let's see. Here we go. The lady comes in and they talk to the lady and let's see if this.
Of the Memorial Hospital. That's correct.
Hold on. That'll be it. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can bring this in. Fair use. I'm making a point. This is politically relevant to the time that this came out. Son of a bitch.
One of my cheese puffs.
The cheese puffs.
Lovely. But the water smells.
Okay. It's that lady right there that says it. This lady.
As of the Mittenhoff Library? Yes, that's right. And the Mittenhoff wing of the Memorial Hospital? That's correct. Well, say, you people are all right. Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Carlson, please have one of my cheese puffs.
Okay, cheese puffs. So did I. See, hold on. Because it's right about there, and I do not know. Back on this one. Where's the Gipper? This is before. It's before all that. It's in the very beginning. Yeah.
For things in our capital.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a balanced budget if it kills us all.
There it is. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, fucking. Yes. That's what I fucking did it. Okay. These are. That's the line. That's the fucking line.
Everything to the bone.
There it is. Hold on. This is it.
Herb, take this.
By the way, Frank Bonner is a fucking genius. God damn, he's funny. It's just that he played an awful person and everybody holds it against you. God damn, he's funny. All right.
Cheese puff and eat it. Mr. and Mrs. Mittenhoff just returned from Washington. How are things in our capital?
Oh, the Gipper's doing one hell of a job.
He's cutting everything to the bone. We're going to have a balanced budget if it kills us all.
It's like that. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like this is nothing new for Republicans. This is shit they've been trying forever. And the response has been the same forever. And their success rate has been the same forever. Try it, you dumb motherfuckers. Because once they start cutting, where does it, who does it ultimately hurt? Who ultimately gets damaged? Red states and poor white trash who vote for Republicans. And they're the ones that squeal the loudest when it comes. And you're like, well, I thought you didn't want any government help. The irony that these motherfuckers are complaining about FEMA passing their goddamn door by, and they're like, the rest of the time you hear them talking about it, they're like, again, FEMA camps and fucking FEMA coffins and all that bullshit from Alex Jones, but that they don't want the fucking government down here until they do. And then it's like, hey, where are you going? Good Lord. I'll check out your setting on Facebook. Sounds keep cutting. Am I just that loud? Is that what it is? They might be censoring me. That's probably what it is. Probably the derp state. Okay, anyways. All right, I can't play any more of that. But that one's like that line really, like, I remembered that. I don't know why. But that just like leapt into my brain when we're talking about all these people who are like, we need to make these cuts, and it's always the same shit.
This nomination will obviously have to go through the Senate confirmation, the Senate Judiciary Committee. And that's going to be a long process.
Yeah, they're going to see the report and they're going to want to enter it into evidence. So what the fuck are you doing?
Next guest coming up, Senator Chris Coons, is part of that committee. He says the report should be released, but he's not the only one. It's not just Democrats. Here's a Republican.
Look at his. I don't like doing this. Why am I having to defend raping McFivehead when I can't even look at boobies on my phone without my son calling my wife?
Senator John Cornyn.
I think there should not be any limitation on the Senate Judiciary Committee's investigation, including whatever the House Ethics Committee has generated.
So you want to see it?
Absolutely.
He's open to issuing a subpoena to the House Ethics Committee. How do you see this playing out?
Leaky, 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 leak, 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 leaky, leaky, leak, leak time. And Biden can pardon the leaker in absentia. I don't even need to know who the leaker is. They're pardoned. Whoever it is, you're pardoned. Congratulations.
Well, look, I hope that the Ethics Committee will stick by our tradition and protocol for the reasons I just articulated.
Because if I have to read it or if I see parts of it, it will set off the porn app on my phone and I will get in big trouble with mother.
I think this would take us down a path there where I don't know how we'd return if the House.
Why? What return? Hey, asshole. The only damaged group, the only potential damaged group is people who leave Congress specifically to avoid the release of an ethics report about them that will be damning. That's the only part of it. That's a very small group of people who apparently know they are guilty or are being blackmailed and have no recourse because they're fucking scumbags. Tough shit. You're a public servant. There's an ethics report being done about you. You don't get to just fucking run out the clock or beat feet and have it hidden forever. Are you out of your fucking mind? Where's the bad precedent? As a matter of fact, the precedent should be, hey, keep your shit together, because just because you leave doesn't mean we're not going to release this shit. Maybe don't act like a fucking scumbag.
Ethics Committee and its resources, which are significant, substantial, could be used to investigate people who are not in the House.
No, he was investigated when he was in the House. The report was done. No. Doesn't qualify. There you go. How about this? If the report's done before they fuck off, you could still release it. There you go. Good? Okay, excellent.
Then where would that end? I mean, people could weaponize.
It would end at people who are innocent fighting back against it and people who are guilty not being able to just split and hide everything like they're a fucking minor having their record expunged.
That function of government as well. The reason that Matt...
How? How? Literally doing a false ethics report against someone would be a violation of the ethics code itself. They'd have to file a report on themselves and then, I guess, leave town before they hit send.
Gaetz is such an exciting pick to so many people is because he will go in and reform the Department of Justice. It desperately needs it. Look, he and I sat on the Judiciary Committee together for almost 7 years before I became Speaker.
Well, yeah. Or is there anybody else on there that didn't have sex with a minor?
Speaker of the House. And we heard the evidence. We saw the evidence of lawfare. We saw how the Department of Justice had been used for political purposes. How...
No, you didn't. Gibberish. You're a silly person. Lies and garbage. Whiny nonsense.
They targeted Catholics in some examples.
No, they didn't. In some examples. Then they didn't target Catholics. I'm guessing those Catholics, the fact that they were Catholic was peripheral to the crime they committed, which was blocking the doors at clinics and physically assaulting people. They were not rounding up Catholics, dipshit. Never happened. Shut the fuck up.
And parents at school boards and...
Then again, if you didn't do a bomb threat or tell the fucking principal of the school that you were going to fucking choke them to death or blow up their car or set fire to their fucking house or shoot them through the head with an AR-15, you didn't get a fucking phone call.
Pro-life Americans. This is not what our...
Nope. There's lots of pro-life Americans, and they only go after the ones that block the entryway of medical clinics. Your rights stop at the end of your nose, and my rights stop at the end of your nose. That's how this shit works.
System of justice was built to do, and Matt Gaetz will go in there and shake it up. And I think most of the American people understand that's an important...
No. And again, I got to tell you, like, why would you need a dude whose best friend is in jail for sex trafficking to be the AG to shake up the Justice Department? Really, there's nobody else. There's nobody else.
Function.
Well, to be fair, he was a member when the investigation was underway. We'll see now how the battle maybe between the Senate and the House sides play out as he proceeds in the confirmation process. In the meantime, President Trump has made it clear if his nominees get stuck, he wants the Senate to move ahead and possibly the House cooperating with this idea of recess appointments.
They already said no.
Forbes says this, that lawmakers in both the House and Senate would have to agree for the Senate to adjourn for more than 10 days, as the Constitution requires both chambers to agree in order to adjourn for more than 3 days. So there'd have to be House and Senate action. National Review says this about your role in that. It says the very idea that the Speaker of the House would collude with the president to undermine the Senate's constitutional role and effectively make the legislative branch a passive plaything of the executive should outrage any member of Congress.
Ouch. God damn. National Review coming in with the right hook. Pull the other one and plays jingle bells.
Would you take steps to put things into recess so those appointments could happen?
Listen, I believe in the principle of a new president being able to choose his team, and that used to not be a controversial notion. We're in a...
Yeah, but neither was the idea of advise and consent rule in the Senate, and that they could have their say as well. That's an integral part of that, dumb fuck. This would be the equivalent of if he can call the Senate into recess so the guy could shove his appointments through without approval, then how about we can just release the fucking ethics report without your permission or giving a fuck what you think? Just because the dude dropped out doesn't mean he gets to dodge this. How about that? Why is that a different set of rules for a different time? Why is that a different standard and not just an overlapping example of the same one? Why is one wrong and the other's okay?
A time of very divided government and a very partisan atmosphere in Washington. I wish it were not. I wish the Senate would simply do its job of advice and consent. And
they are. but the consent part, which seems to be a thing with you fucking guys. Do you guys just not know what that word means? Because if you did know what it meant, really knew what the word consent means, you wouldn't put somebody like Matt fucking Gaetz up for AG. How about that? You dipshit. Good Lord.
Allow the president to put the persons in his cabinet of his choosing. But
yes, after the Senate confirms them. That's also part of the tradition and part of the function of government. Why do you want to cut that part out? Why is cutting that part out okay, and somehow he should be able to just steamroll whoever the fuck he wants in charge of things without people investigating them and clearing them, making sure that he's not just a fucking lunatic like late stage Richard Nixon? Why is that wrong? But somebody releasing an ethics report that was finished before the dude quit, 2 days before it was supposed to be released. Reason for it not to be released because you think it's that the fucking ethics committee of the House is going to start investigating random members of the public. Gibberish, nonsense, horseshit. Fuck off.
If this thing bogs down, it would be a great detriment.
Bogs down. Here's a good idea. It won't bog down if you don't put up people who are under investigation for child sex trafficking. That would grease the wheels a lot.
To the country, to the American people. Remember, they just delivered a mandate to the president.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. 1.7% difference in the overall vote. No. And we still haven't even, it's probably going to be 1.2 at the end. One of the smallest margins of victory. Don't give me this electoral college horseshit. You guys have a lead in the Senate anyways because you have a bunch of red states that have fewer people in them than a suburb of Toledo.
Overwhelming popular vote victory and of course electoral.
Not overwhelming. Obama's was overwhelming. Biden's was overwhelming. This was not overwhelming.
A college victory, and they have sent the message that America First policies should be the rule of the day. So
No. The Constitution should be the rule of the day, and America First policies shall operate under that framework. And if they can't, then they're not policies. They're dictatorial efforts by a tin pot dictator who's going to spend most of his presidency on the shitter.
Persons that the president is choosing will help with that agenda. They will take.
Again, what is the agenda? Lowering the age of consent to 12?
Their leadership in these agencies, and they will reform them as the people expect and demand. So we'll evaluate all that at the appropriate time, and we'll make the appropriate decision.
There is no such thing as an appropriate decision that involves Matt Gaetz being in charge of anything, much less the Department of Justice. You absolute cretin. Look, the difference between me and some of our regulars here in the chat is that I don't dive into the whole like Tara will go sometimes. You're a big spaghetti monster in the sky, bullshit, religious beliefs, and blah, blah, blah. Because I give people enough room to believe whatever they want to believe in their life, so long as it positively informs them or they live up to whatever standard that fucking is. Okay? If somebody considers themselves a Christian and they act in the best possible example of that, like Jimmy Carter, fucking great. And I'm not going to shit on his religion because, somebody else is insulted by the existence of it. That's not how it works, okay? And people, and I understand some people just need to be a dick about it. I get it. But in this particular case, it means that there's no difference in your mind between this guy and Jimmy Carter. They both believe bullshit and they both believe in nonsense and they're both deluded assholes, and it doesn't matter. It does matter. Because it is a standard by which they live. It is an example by which they live. And Jimmy Carter really does, and it's a deeply held belief that he actually lives. And this motherfucker is a fraud. He's a phony. He's full of shit. And he's the worst kind of hypocrite because he weaponizes, to borrow their term, Christianity to use as a cudgel against genuinely good people. Fuck this dude and his bullshit, faux Christianity, I'm Moses nonsense. And that's why I think it's valuable to make the distinction and not just be a bigot against people's religious beliefs, period. Because if you do, what's the difference? Two versions of delusion? Is that what you're saying? Just one's the delusion you like and one's the delusion you don't? If the thought form doesn't matter, then he's not a hypocrite. And he fucking is. And I'm not going to let him off the fucking hook simply because he misuses something that somebody like Jimmy Carter genuinely believes with all their heart. It matters. And if you just keep handing it over to these motherfuckers, they will gut everyone. Willie Weed, I'm not putting down atheists. I'm talking about the ones that are dicks on purpose. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't whinge about this. I think of atheists that keep it to themselves the same way I think of Christians that keep it to themselves. If it informs your behavior and makes you a good person, I don't need to know why you're doing it. And if you're trying to sell it to me as part of the reason why, then it should be indicative of your behavior. Right? If you're telling me you're atheist and that's what informs your behavior and that kind of stuff, it's a great conversation. I'm glad to have it with you. But if you're just a dick and that's another part of your identity, then how am I not to make the tie between that part of your identity and the fact that you're a dick? The same thing is true with this asshole. You either live the standard that you have or you don't. And the only real say in somebody else's standard or self-identity that you have a say in is whether or not they live up to the word that they say. Not whether you believe in the abstract of what they believe in the first fucking place. Or, guess what? Welcome to the world of people who don't believe trans people are real. Because that's how they think about it too. And there's a bunch of people who believe that, but also don't give a shit and believe that trans people should just be allowed to live their life. And so their bigotry is immaterial to the world. Nobody cares. It's not going to negatively affect them. It stops at the end of their nose, and as silly or misguided as that might be, at the very least, it does not harm trans people. But the people that need to interject all the time, like, it's mental illness, it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking mental illness, it's bullshit. You see it all the time on the internet, okay? Same thing. I do not have a problem with atheists. I have a problem with dicks in the abstract. These are the same people who roll through when you post a song. We'll end on this. The same people that when you post a song by a band you like, who roll through and tell you who it ain't and why they suck. Unless you're an 8th grader, fuck off. You're a grown person. People are allowed to like what they like. Look, I don't have to like what you like to love that you love it. You understand what I'm saying? As long as you're not commandeering the radio on a long car ride, it's none of my fucking business. And if you post a song you like on the fucking internet, I'm not going to just swing by just for the sake of going, they suck. Right? Same people. Yes, Richard Duggins is a dick, but he's a paid dick. I'm talking about randos. However you act is indicative of whatever your belief system is. And if I sit you down and I go, what's your moral code? And you tell it to me, I will know who you are based on whether you live up to it or not. Right? It isn't the existence of that code. It's whether you live up to it or not. And everybody has the absolute right to strive to live up to a code and fail. That is the essence, I would believe, of how Jimmy Carter talks about Christianity. He has failed in his heart. He even admitted to that when he was running. Remember that story? He's sinned in his heart. That's what he's talking about. Because he's trying his best. And that's a genuine effort that any human being can understand. I have set a standard. This is an example of this standard, and I'm trying to live up to it all the time, and it's never easy, but I'm trying to be the bigger person, and that's a beautiful thing. And I support that no matter what the driving point is or whether I believe in your reasoning for it. As long as you have that standard and you live up to it, good for you. I'm glad you have that guiding light. I don't need to be sold on it or join you in it even. But if you claim to be a person on that same ethical path and you walk the exact opposite direction while pounding your chest and saying, that you're a Christian or whatever, like Mike Pillow does, like Mike Johnson does, then fuck you, hypocrite. And for me, you have to have a standard that there is a good version of this to say that there's a bad version of this. And whitewashing it all away like they're all fucking full of shit doesn't tell me anything about them, but it does tell me something about you. And whatever your life standard is. Okay? That whatever you believe, wherever it came from, you can't hold back your bile even in the short term, even in the easy moments. Imagine what it'll be like in the hard moments. Why did you call me an atheist? I didn't, Willie. You asked me how I felt about them. I didn't say you were one. I should have been a preacher. Almost was. Thomas Percival says, dude, you're describing yourself. Yeah, I am. I set a standard and I try very hard to live up to that standard. What's missing? I mean, it should be abundantly clear where my standard is. I'm not squeamish about language. I'm not sexually averse. I'm not easily icked. I do not believe that if there is a God, it can fit through the corpus callosum of man, and therefore every variation of it has simply been an interpretation of the unfathomable by a biological organism that it is literally impossible for it to process. And so, as we say in Masonry, everyone is entitled to their own unique mistake. And so I will stand by what I say and live up to the standard that I build for myself, which is my own code. It's not written on a stone tablet anywhere. There are overlapping principles that I have with all of the great religions, as I think anybody with a decent ethical code will find, in themselves or in whatever their direction is. But this kind of this abstract wholesale bitterness towards large groups of people, especially the ones that don't come at you specifically, that aren't based on an ideology like MAGA, which is specific to a certain group of people and is, I believe, separate from regular conservative beliefs. I can make that distinction, and I will stand by my denigration and mockery of that particular ideology. But it doesn't mean I'm saying that the people who believe it are permanently poisoned any more than I would say that an addict is done for once they cross a certain threshold, that there's no going back, that there is no redemption in a human soul. Like, I'm not going to live in that space, nor would I expect anybody else to. If somebody else does, that's up to them. And if they do believe that, then that should be the primary standard. I don't want to hear them backtracking when it's somebody on their side, which is exactly what Mike Johnson is doing. Mike Johnson wants to beat his fucking chest about Jesus Christ and the teachings of Jesus Christ and the importance of the gospel and the new covenant of Jesus Christ with man and all this stuff. And then He wants to give Matt Gaetz a pass and be unforgiving to other people who have done far less. Do you at least see the important distinction there? That it is mine, as best as I can make it, is a genuine, manageable, realistic standard for life that is not based on my state of grace is the level of judgment I have against somebody else. Somebody was just saying the golden rule. I've had a problem with the golden rule my entire life because it feels selfish to me. This is my own feeling. This is not yours. This is not the way they meant it. None of that shit. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you is too low a base standard. I'm not nice to people so they'll be nice to me. I'm nice to people because that's the kind of human I want to be. Do people get the distinction? And do they know, can you guys understand why I think that's an important distinction? Because it is, to me. I think that's crucial. I'm not charitable because I want people to be charitable to me. I'm not nice because I want people to be nice to me. I'm not strong because I need people to be strong on my behalf. Those are the standards I want in myself. For myself. Not just so that I can get as good as I give. Because if you are those things, you don't need to get them because you already have them. Because you are them.